Here is a story about a woman going to work in the morning. All of the sentences are very natural English. I am simply emphasizing the stress and intonation to illustrate the rhythm of spoken English.
Coming to a river, she crosses the bridge. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. To keep from getting wet, Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat.
We'll begin practicing at the end of our story, and then add more pieces until we come to the beginning. Today's story includes 3 pictures, pictures E, F, and G. I will repeat each sentence 3 times and explain the techniques being used. Okay, let's begin with picture E.
She crosses the bridge. She crosses the bridge. She crosses the bridge.
Now, here's another piece of our picture E, and we finish our sentence.
Coming to a river, she crosses the bridge. Coming to a river, she crosses the bridge. Coming to a river, she crosses the bridge.
The emphasized words are coming and river. The other words are unstressed. There is one linking between the vowels of to and a. To has an oo sound at the end, which explains why the number 2 has a W in the spelling. So we link the W sound with the indefinite article like this. To, coming to a river, she crosses the bridge. For those of you who enjoy grammar, notice that this sentence begins with an ing form, which means the first noun that appears later will be its subject. In this case, she is the subject. Now, let's add all of picture F.
Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain.
The emphasized words are uh-oh, starting, and rain. The exclamation uh-oh is composed of 2 sounds clearly pronounced and means something bad is about to happen. Listen to picture F again. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. Now we can add one more picture, picture G.
And puts on a raincoat. And puts on a raincoat. And puts on a raincoat.
Puts and raincoat are clearly pronounced, and on and a are not. As we've seen many times before, and is unstressed and sounds like this. The 3 words puts on a are linked together fluently. Puts on a, puts on a, puts on a raincoat. Here's another piece of the sentence.
The side of the road and puts on a raincoat. The side of the road and puts on a raincoat. The side of the road and puts on a raincoat.
Side and road are the emphasized words, and there are 2 linkings. Side of, side of, side of the road. Rodin, Rodin, Rodin puts on a raincoat. Let's keep going and add another piece.
Pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. Pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. Pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat.
Over is the only stressed word, and there is linking between pulls and over. Pulls over, pulls over, pulls over to the side of the road. Pull over is a phrase that means to pull the reins of a horse to make him turn and move to the side of the road. This expression was later extended to automobiles, motorcycles, and bicycles, because the principle is the same. Make your vehicle move to the side of the road, especially when ordered to do so by the police. Now, here's the subject of our sentence.
Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat.
Black is the only emphasized word, and there is no special linking. So we'll go on and finish this picture story.
To keep from getting wet, Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. To keep from getting wet, Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. To keep from getting wet, Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat.
Again, for those of you who pay attention to grammar, you will see that this sentence begins with an infinitive, and the first noun that appears after it is its subject. In this sentence, Mrs. Black is the subject. Anyway, keep and wet are the two words emphasized in this part. To, from, and getting are unstressed. The words to and from both have the unclear schwa vowel. To keep from getting wet. To keep from getting wet. Now, listen and practice these 4 short sentences without breaking the rhythm. Practicing over and over again like this will help you to understand English spoken at normal speed.
Coming to a river, she crosses the bridge. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. To keep from getting wet, Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat.
If you count the number of words in this sentence that are clearly pronounced, there are 16. If you count the number of words or syllables that are lightly pronounced, you will find there are 26. This tells us that a native English speaker needs to hear fewer than half the words to understand normal speech. This is the secret to listening comprehension and to speaking fluently. Only important words are clearly pronounced. Some people might say that my sentences sound odd and artificial because I've been using a very regular rhythm. However, this regular stress and intonation is easier to speak and to understand for a native speaker. Here is how I would naturally tell this story, beginning with pictures A through G. This is John on the back of his mother's scooter. On her way to work every morning, Mrs. Black takes her son to school. After dropping him off, she waves goodbye as he enters the gate to the school ground. For Mrs. Black, safety is very important. She keeps to the right and always wears a helmet. The other rider is not too smart. Weaving in and out between the cars like that is extremely dangerous. Everyone has stopped for the traffic light, and pedestrians are walking across the street. If they don't hurry, they might be killed. An impatient driver may jump the light. Coming to a river, she crosses the bridge. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. To keep from getting wet, Mrs. Black pulls over to the side of the road and puts on a raincoat. The purpose of this exercise is to improve your listening comprehension and learn how to read and speak so that others will naturally want to listen. Now, go on to the next picture, picture H of our story. There are 12 parts in all. Thank you for watching and listening.